Hi everyone, David MacDonald here from Vitality Fitness Calgary. We're going to go over a really cool topic today. So one of the biggest things that people tend to have as an obstacle when they want to eat healthy is trying to work it into their budget. The reality is eating healthy is really expensive. It's a lot more expensive than eating unhealthy, but it's still a really, really important thing. And it's a big priority if you want to have a long life and you want to have a really good quality of life. So we're going to give you guys 6 tips today on how you can eat healthier and how you can also save money by eating healthier. So I'm going to go through the 6 tips and we'll go from there. So first tip we have is buying in bulk. So buying in bulk is very, very, very important if you're wanting to eat healthy and save money. Okay, we all know that if we buy in larger quantities, okay, we are going to save more money in the long term. So anything like vegetables, meats, things like that, you want to try to buy them in as large quantities as possible. Things like pastas, like brown pasta, brown rice, oats, things like that. You want to try to buy them in large quantities because you're going to save money over time. So that's going to be number 1, is buying in bulk. If you are going to focus on buying anything in bulk, I would focus more on dried goods. Okay, the challenge with things like produce and meats is they typically don't last as long as dried goods, so you might start spoiling food. But there's a way that you can get around that, and that's going to be number 2, which we'll go over right now. So number 2 is going to be buying frozen produce and meats. So if you buy frozen, it's going to be much cheaper and much more inexpensive than if you buy fresh. Now, the frozen products don't taste as good. However, with frozen food, you're actually going to save more money and you're going to be actually able to buy in bulk. So things like chicken breasts, pork chops, fish, you can buy frozen and you can buy in large quantities. The other thing is you'll be able to buy vegetables in larger quantities. So fruits, things like spinach, you can buy frozen spinach, peas, carrots, things like that. So you can buy in larger quantities and they're frozen and they're going to last longer, so you're not going to spoil food. So that's another thing you can do to stay healthy and save some money, is to buy frozen. Next thing we have is skipping the brand names. So you can actually save a lot of money by skipping brand name foods. You can save 20, 30, even up to 40% by switching from, say, Quaker oats to no-name oats. Okay, if you go to somewhere like Superstore, you're going to notice that if you buy some dried oats, the no-name brand is about, I think it's about $2.50 for a small bag. Quaker, you're probably looking at close to $4, if not more. So that's another big thing you can use, is skipping on the brand names and just buying something like a no-name brand or Kirkland or President's Choice or things like that. Now, a lot of people tend to think that the brand names are higher quality. You are going to have a little bit of a variation in taste with more brand name foods. They're going to taste a little bit better, but the quality is still going to be there. And that's what really matters at the end of the day, is the nutritional quality. Okay, next thing we recommend is shopping around. So this is something that a lot of people don't do, and most people tend to go to grocery stores that are the closest to their house or closest nearby. So what we recommend is shopping around, going to different stores for different foods. So to give you guys an example, Superstore tends to have cheaper frozen fruit. They tend to have, more inexpensive meats. They also tend to have more inexpensive dried foods like rice, pastas, oatmeal, things like that. So personally, I go to Superstore and I get my frozen fruit there, I get my oats, I get my rice. It's a lot cheaper than going to Co-op, but Co-op is actually closer to my home. So that's another thing, is you can shop around. Another great place that a lot of people go to is Costco. You can save a lot of money going to Costco. For some people, Costco might be a little bit of a drive, but it's definitely worth the savings that you get. So shopping around is number 4. Now the next thing, it might be a surprise for some of you, and that's skipping organic. So there are certain things that if you can do organic, it is going to be better for your overall health. So meats come to mind, produce like lettuce, spinach, berries, apples, things like that are better organic. But if we're just strictly looking at saving money and working within our budget, you're better off skipping organic if that's going to be your priority, because organic is a lot more expensive. For some foods, you're going to pay almost double the cost. So while conventional produce and conventional meats might not be as healthy, it's much better than eating processed food, and it's much cheaper than organic food. So that's number 5, skipping the organic stuff. And then the next thing we have is not to buy bottled water. And that's going to be another surprise for some of you. Now, we're not saying drink tap water. That would be crazy. But you don't have to buy bottled water. what you can actually do is hook up a filter to your tap at home. Get a Brita filter and hook it up to your tap, and that's gonna filter your water, and you're gonna save a lot more money by drinking filtered water from a Brita tap than you would going out to buy bottled water. You're probably gonna save about $40, $50 a month if you buy regular bottled water, or sorry, if you do filtered tap water as opposed to doing bottled water. So we recommend hooking up a Brita filter to your tap to filter out, some of the unhealthy stuff, some of the crap that's in drinking water that you don't want to be drinking or you want to be consuming. And the other thing is you can actually get a Brita jug. That's another thing people will do is they'll put their water in a Brita jug, and then there's a filter within the jug that can filter the water out. Personally, I think the Brita filter that you connect to your tap is more practical because you don't have to keep filling the jug up with water, and especially if you drink a lot of water. So that's gonna be tip number 6. Don't buy bottled water. It's a huge waste of money. You can save about $40, $50 just by switching to a filter that's connected to your tap at home. Now the thing is to remember with a filtered water system is you're gonna have to buy the filtration system, you're gonna have to buy filters every couple months, but you're still gonna save big money by doing that. So that's tip number 6, don't buy bottled water. All right, so those are our 6 tips on how to eat healthy and save money. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Stay tuned for some more videos. I'm David MacDonald from Vitality Fitness Calgary. Thank you for watching.